to come along. Donna's a very valued member of our team and particularly of Deb's team. And Donna's going to tell us a little bit about her story and a little bit about how she's been enjoying the masterclasses. So over to you, Donna, and thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Annette. And I really appreciate you asking me along tonight to give a bit of a testimonial. I'm currently living in Inverell, New South Wales, and I'm 57. I'm very proud to admit that. Sorry, start talking and I start tickling. And I'm actually loving how my face and my body and everything is at the moment using Nutrimetics. So my story, I've got a bit of a cheat sheet here, so please bear with me. I've been using Nutrimetics on and off since I was about 20. And I just loved it, even back then. So over the years, my mum, she was a Mary Kay consultant and my sister was a Avon dealer. So I've always been kind of surrounded by beauty products. I never really took much notice of them, if I'll be honest with you. And I can always remember my mum saying to me, sweetie, you've got to cleanse, tone and moisturize. And I thought, no, I was young, I was kind of didn't really take much in. And anyway, I was living in Brisbane and a girlfriend of mine took me along to a Nutrimetics party that was being, the consultant was my now current upline, which was Jan, and she comes in Deb's team. So I went along to a party. I fell in love with it all over again. And then I went to another party and I thought I really need to start looking after myself. Because I realized that I wasn't getting any younger. So I was 44 at the time and kind of neglected my skin most of my life, and realized that I had a pretty big task ahead of me. So I decided I wanted the Restore set. Right or wrong, that's what I wanted. So I joined up as a consultant. So what then happened was, excuse me, I went to a training session with Deb, and at that training session they had a machine that could look at your skin or under your skin what it looked like, a bit like an x-ray, and I was actually appalled by my skin. And I think that's when I really sat up and took notice and went, hey, look at the damage that you've been doing and that you need to do something, because if I didn't start looking after it, then I was going to look much older than what my age was, and I was going to be older before my time, and I didn't want that. So I also wanted to learn how to use the products, and I felt that Nutrimetics could help me achieve that, because there was such a good, strong support mechanism behind everything. My only issue was that working full time, I found it hard to get to the training sessions, Colt. So a lot of them were in the city, or when Deb could have them at out at Bow Desert, I could get to them, but working full time was really hard for me to do that. But I did manage to learn some things, and I ended up managing to build up a little bit of a customer base while I was in Brisbane. And then I gave up my job in Brisbane and I moved to Inverell, and that was about 3.5 years ago. So the only thing through it, although I wasn't really comfortable in doing the parties, so I wasn't really interested in doing the face-to-face demonstrations and the parties. I just wanted to tell people how great the products were and sell them and get them in love with the products as much as what I was. So I didn't know really how to do that. The other thing, when I moved to Inverell, it was very hard because it was a new town. So I didn't know very many people. So I didn't have a very good friend base to be able to start. So I sort of had to start from scratch all over again. So what changed, or what has changed for me in the last 12 months? So why am I so energetic, enthusiastic about it now? So before COVID, I had made a conscious decision that I would try and meet more people. So I decided that I was going to try and build my customer base up again. So I started to do a couple of pop-up markets. I distributed brochures, and I was starting to build a bit of a customer base. And then COVID came along, so everything changed again. And I think for me, that was when it really changed for my enthusiasm for Nutrimetics and for the products, because everything went online and went virtual. And that was for me really, really great, because I now had access to online training. I could tune in and do product launches and updates. I was invited to conferences and company announcements, and I tend to have been missing out on all of that previously, but it was just because of the communications. So now I found I was getting more information than I've gotten before, and I was loving it and I was taking it in. So I was starting to learn more about the products, learn more about the business, how to build your business. So I found everyone was starting to communicate more across Zoom and Facebook, forming groups. So I got reconnected. So I got reconnected to the company, reconnected with my team. Deb, I think you're fabulous. I love you.
Thank you.
So I just love it, and I feel like I actually belong again. So I feel like I belong part of a team, and that's only happened through Zoom and being able to be involved in these meetings. So thank you for inviting me into your world. So I can now dial in, I can learn, I can listen, and I can do it all from the comfort of my home. So, and without having to travel big distances. So my confidence is growing every week. I'm getting more knowledge about the products, so I feel that I can talk to them about it, about the products and recommend them. And I'm starting to connect with people. So thank you, technology, because that's exactly what I needed to give me a kick up the bum, to get me comfortable, to get me learning and feeling confident in starting my little business. So as you can tell, I'm a pretty great communicator, and it's what I do for a job. So I found that technology has let me fit into that niche. So I want to build my business up enough that I can start to looking at reducing my daytime job and go part-time, or eventually even give it up. And that's one of my goals. The other thing that's happened was we also had a little bit of a wiggle room in our finances. So I felt that I could then start to buy products and I could commit to actually growing my business. So for me, that was an amazing part of the growth and transformation that I've done in the last 12 months too. So I also realised, and this was probably the epitome of everything, was that I am my best advertisement. So how I look, how I present, I sell the products by my enthusiasm. So that was something that I'd learned. So where am I now? So I have a Nutrimetics Facebook page, I have an Instagram page, I post daily and every second day. I do online videos and lives. I promote products, I do product demonstrations weekly. I have a monthly customer order draw now, and I'm about to commence redoing mail out brochures. Plus I do a monthly email newsletters to all my customers. So what have I still got to work on? Getting better with the technology. There is still so much more I can do. Sponsoring is probably the next big thing for me. I'm not confident at all at that, and I've got to get confident in it. And I think it's how you present yourself and how you promote it to people. So I've got to get better at that. I've still got a lot to learn, but I'm happy to be on the journey. I'm happy to be on the journey with Deb, my wonderful upline. I'm confident when I can recommend the products, and it's because I've used them and I've learnt about them, or I've read about them, or I have this great forums like the Thursday night training sessions, and I also learn from the other consultants in the company. So my goals for this year are to achieve each month's thank you and bonus gifts. So far I'm on track. Continue to purchase each pre-launch, because I think these are fabulous too. I know that you mentioned them before, but the pre-launch packs have been able to give me access to more products and to learn about them. And my aim is to sponsor 5 new team members by the end of the year. So that's kind of where I've come from and where I am now. But I did want to, have I got time to share a funny story with you all?
Absolutely.
Okay. So recently, last week, I went to the Gold Coast and worked from one of our offices up there. I got all the way to Brisbane and I unpacked my bags, and I realised that I'd left all my makeup behind. So I had my skincare, but I had no makeup. I had no foundations. I had no makeup at all. No lipsticks, nothing. Oh, sorry, I did have one lipstick in my bag. Do you know how terrifying that was for me? So I thought to myself, okay, what am I going to do? I don't want to go and buy expensive stuff. I just want something that's fairly cheap that will get me through the week. So I thought, I'll go to Kmart. So I went to Kmart. I spent a good half an hour standing in front of the big array of cosmetics that they had to try and work out what foundation to buy, because they just never had the variety in the colors. Like it was either a really light one or a really dark one. And then I thought, well, I blend them, and it was a disaster. And then I bought a little palette for eyeshadow, and I'll tell you, I didn't want to pay much, so I didn't get much for what I paid for. But I tell you, I won't be buying that again. And I definitely won't be leaving my makeup behind again, because it was a drama. And every day I put my makeup on, I go, oh, this doesn't look like me. No, that was my funny story. Don't forget your makeup when you go away for work.
Oh dear, oh dear. Yes, that's your worst nightmare, isn't it? I could just imagine how you would have been feeling.
Yes.
What an inspiration you are, Donna.
Oh, thank you.
What an inspiration. So well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody. And I'm glad to be a part of this wonderful team. So thank you.
Yes, you've done an amazing job there tonight.